Adam and Camry, can you hear me yet? I know you're trying to connect. Can put on my studio lights so you can see me a little bit better.
Morning.
Hey, you're gonna see on the recording. I'm like right at the beginning. I'm like walking around and I'm turning on my studio lights, and it's like so. Anyways, yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How about you guys? How you doing?
Good. Yesterday ended out pretty well. Those ladies came in right at 11 when we were on the computer and everything, and they wound up staying out until about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and they were ecstatic when they got back. And they live about an hour away, so hopefully they'll commit to their future. That'd be cool.
Script. I'm writing this down because I want to send this to you after our call. There's a transitional script that I like to use for renters to buyers. Okay. I mean, I think all of this needs to be practiced. So right now, the last couple of days we've been working on theory. Camry and I did get a chance to do a little bit of SOS where we, rapid fire. And that's, essentially what I do in the dojo with people. They come in and we just hammer for 30 minutes. But like anything else, if you want to get better at riding a bike, what do you got to do? Yeah. Put time in the saddle. Yeah. And, that's the whole point of putting together these parks so that people can get better at their skills so that when they go and actually ride out on the real trail, they've got it. Morning, Camry.
Morning.
So, I'm smiling because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I make a point of like the thumbnail image of the YouTube video that I send that's unlisted, but you guys can see it. The thumbnail is so far I've been lucky enough that the thumbnail automatically comes up and you guys both have these big smiles on the thumbnail, so it's like, oh yeah, cool. So it's great. It's great. That's why I smiled, because like Camry sat down and it's like both of you guys were smiling, like, oh, okay, right on. Right. So I'm just gonna before I do the review, as you mentioned the rental thing, and I just think it's interesting, like a lot of the stores that I've visited who do a tremendous amount of rentals, they have challenges with getting people to, again, push over to the idea of being an owner. Yeah. And we touched upon this, I think, already, in the sense that if somebody comes in from out of town, you've done your marketing, you've spent, the money to attract people to your location. That costs you money. Yeah. Whether you like it, like the concept of somebody, even if you've gotten really good with your metrics and you've been able to figure out that, hey, you know what, my cost per lead is under $1. Okay. It's going to take you a while to be able to get to that point. My good friend, Victor Prouding, who's the owner of the Treadmill Factory in Toronto and the Fitness Factory in Calgary, so he's got 5 locations right now. What I find interesting is he's saying, Joe, I'm spending $57 per qualified lead, right? And so same thing, giving good phone is a very good practice, and in the sense that when I had Fitness Depot, we were able to figure out that every time the phone rang, it cost us $33. It was a $33 per lead, and it wasn't necessarily a qualified lead. Yeah. So Vic is spending more money to repel the wrong customer and to attract the right customer. But then that's the whole point, because you're two of you right now. You want to be able to get the right person in and make sure that that person is this magic type of, avatar. Like, we've created this customer avatar. So it's like, how can I I get the appropriate retargeting. And Camry and I spoke about this briefly yesterday, that, you know, like you've been in a position, Adam, I'm sure, where you've checked something out online and all of a sudden you're on Facebook and you get this ad for the thing that you checked out earlier, you know, a day before. And like, what the hell is Big Brother watching? And the answer is yeah.
Yeah.
And it's called a Facebook pixel. And if you have that, then you can do retargeting to these people. That's the whole point, because, you know, like the Retail Association says, you know, and these statistics have been around for a while, it's 5 to 7 touches before somebody makes a decision. And again, comes back to, you're spending the money on attraction to help people get, you know, involved and consideration, whether it's through a rental or a purchase. And then you've got to persuade and influence enough for them to make a decision. So it's attraction, consideration, decision. So in the world of the rental, somebody comes in, and most Pedigo stores, well-meaning, you know, loving their people, and their people being their prospects and customers. But they go, hey, you know what? People come back from rental. It's like, hey, Adam, Camry, how'd it go? And everybody's going to give you the same reaction. Oh, it was awesome. It was fun. Well, great. Well, you know, folks, just so you know, if you want, we could take the cost of the rental, apply it to the purchase of the bike, and because you're out of state, you blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to send you guys the rental script. And the idea behind it is, remember, like I've mentioned already, you know, you notice when you ask somebody a question, you hook the mind, right?
Yeah.
You get their attention. So it's like, hey, Adam, did you enjoy it? Yeah, awesome. Hey, can you imagine riding one of these every day back home? If the answer is yes, now you know you go down the path of, okay, I'm going to ask you via my script. If the answer is no, right, it's a flow chart. The answer is no, okay, I'll take your money. Thank you very much for the rental. I hope to see you again. And then now you because they filled out your waiver, right, your rental waiver, I'm assuming that you're getting their email address so that you want to be able to follow up with them in a sequential aspect of, hey, please come back and rent from us again. We really appreciate you. How would you rate your experience with us, and put it up on TripAdvisor? Because the rental sequence, like we've created rental sequences and it just so happens that Pedigo Alpharetta, for example, they won the TripAdvisor contest last year.
Yeah, I saw that.
We helped them do it.
Yeah.
Because they were using lead cycles. So everybody who got into their test their rental waiver didn't get sent to Google for a review. They got sent to TripAdvisor for a review. It drives more traffic at a lower cost per lead, which is the whole point, right? So then you ask people, hey, how did you hear about our store? Saw you on TripAdvisor. Daily metrics, awesome. So again, that whole renter to buyer, it still comes back to butts on bikes. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, regardless of who your customer is, it's Bob's. I got to get you in. So, yeah, I'm thinking about renting sometime in the future. Hey, you know what? Just for fun, come with me. You go first, you come back. Here, hop on. And then they go, right? Or you get their, whether you're going to do it with paper or whether you're going to do it with Smart Waiver or another digital format or lead cycles, you got to get their details, because your fortune's in your follow-up. Okay. I mean, again, I'm not trying to, you know, obviously I want you to use lead cycles because I believe in it and I know it works, and there's other Pedigo dealers that you can go out and reach to. And I don't want to be pitchy, because this is we're here to do Army of One. And so, you know, I just want to be very clear. I do want you to follow up with people. And we're going to talk about relentless follow-up in the future. I don't know if we're going to do it today or the next time we meet. But the relentless follow-up is a way that you could do it manually. But the more customers you get in the funnel, the harder it becomes to try to keep up. Just because it's like a tire fire. It's out of control.
Yeah.
Right? So, quick review, and then we're going to hop back in to stuff. So
just to let you know, we have a bike shipment coming in sometime between 11 and 12, but just wanted to let you know.
No sweat.
One of us will have to jump out with that.
No problem.
Do it. Cool.
I've got video of Fort Collins and of Boise, and I can't remember who else, but recently those two that they did the same thing. It was like in the middle of it, and I'm like, okay. This is why, again, I'm extending the time frame so that I can give you as much value as possible, but we can hit pause on the recording. And in the meantime, if whoever's if Cameron, you're gonna go build the guns and unload the truck, then Adam and I will do some sales objection system training, and you can come back with your nice beige shirt, cream color shirt. Will come back all dusty and everything. I know how it works. I've unloaded trucks. Yeah. All right. So, just curious, out of the person who is your customer, as we're going to do this quick review, what percentage of your business is rental versus purchase? Do you guys have an idea in terms of what that breakdown is at this point? I mean, I know it's still early.
Yeah, I would say probably, we probably about 50%.
The revenue?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's probably about maybe 15 to 20.
So rental is 15%, purchase is 85?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're definitely, we see a spike on the weekends. Like, just like yesterday, we wound up doing, $250 in rentals on a Wednesday, which was awesome.
Sweet.
And then, we've had a couple of Saturdays and Sundays where we hit, $500 to $700 and whatnot. So certain days are obviously better and certain weeks are obviously better, but I would say that's probably pretty accurate.
In your vision of your location, would you like to have, again, you know that there's different pillars in terms of revenue streams as a Pedigo store, right? You've got sales, which would include accessory sales, rentals, right? You've got tours, which a lot of people haven't delved in yet, which is why we talked about the importance of the non-urgent. I mean, it's good, but it takes a bit of time. This is why, the food tour aspect, you put something, and whether it's a history tour or and I don't know much about Chattanooga, so you could say, hey, what's an attraction about the area? You could put a tour together, and even if you worked it for literally 15 to 20 minutes, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to come in 20 minutes earlier, and I'm shutting everything down, no phones, blah, 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 no email. I'm just doing the food tour stuff. You'll get this done. Yeah. And then you scratch it off your list, and these things end up growing, pushing the needle. And then the last part of it is the service department, which leads me to my question. How much of your business do you want to be doing like for-profit service? Not I'm helping customers out and I'm putting out fires in the urgent quadrant, which is not what, you don't want to be worried about that. You want your employees to do that. But how much of it do you want to be creating revenue out of service?
I would say, right now it's tough to determine that because just like you said, it's my passion, but at the same time, it's pulling an extra body out of the sales floor. So right now I would say, whatever we get, but in the long term, I would like it to be, at least 5 or 10%, because then that'd mean that we're being sustainable. And that's just labor charge, which is just time and
profitable.
Time and money. Yeah.
Hugely profitable. So as I'm thinking about it, and again, this is not necessarily part of the army of one, if this is strictly, experience through all these Pedigo and other bike shops that I've visited over the years, I think that it's important for you to be able to, here goes Joe again. I'm going off script, but again, it's all about how much value can I bring to the table for you guys. And then I'm going to pull these off later, but one of the things that I see in a lot of Pedigo stores is, and this is just up for debate, they want to be able to say, okay, you know what? I'm only working on Pedigos, period. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm just going to give you, again, the old spare ribs. Keep the information as you want. If to me, everything comes back to butts on bikes. If somebody comes in with a off brand, I will gladly look at their off brand for a price. I will not stock. In other words, I will not keep their bike in my Pedigo location overnight. I'll look at it. I'll put it up on the stand for a fee, and it isn't going to be the Pedigo Chattanooga fee. It's going to be my stated regular fee. So what I see, again, this is again another suggestion, like we had talked about yesterday about your delivery map where you're creating value, where somebody says, oh, well, I actually live here. And it's like, well, you know what? Again, most stores are going to tell me that, in this range at the 100 or 200, they were willing to go do the delivery for free. So now you're just giving that added value, because that customer wants to generally feel like they got something extra. And so this is a great example of giving something extra that has value. And so by putting it up on the wall, it's like, you know what, I'll do it for free. Awesome. Well, in the same context, you can have your shop rate. And the exercise would be this. You would actually call five other shops, bicycle retailers or service-only stores that are in your area. And you would call 5 or 6, and you would just go, hey, what's your hourly rate? Just find out what the average is. I would typically take the highest rate, and then you have your shop rate, and you put that up. So just for the sake of this exercise, let's say that it's $99 an hour. In some stores, it's actually more. In some stores, it's less. This is shop rate. But what you have is you also put in a VIP rate. And your VIP rate would be coming in at, let's just say it's $69 an hour. And again, this is just for the sake of the exercise. You put this up in your shop area. Somebody comes in from without a pedigo, and they come in and they go, hey, and this is not a diagnosis rate. This is just your hourly rate. If you have to diagnose an off-brand, you could create something else.
Yeah.
Right. So the point is, and I would go like service diagnosis for anything other than a pedigo, like put it up at $149. And then disclaimer would be, we do not stock your bike. We do not stock other brands' parts. It is their responsibility to get parts. And, like, in other words, without telling them, hey, dude, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
You bought another bike. I can look at it. And while I look at it, butts on bikes, go ahead and ride a pedigo.
There you go. Yeah.
You know it, because it's all about butts on bikes. So now the goal is, hey, I'll take a look at your bike. They're paying me anyways, and it's like, hey, they're going to pay me a premium, and they're basically paying for a rental. I'm going to look at their bike, and I'm not going to repair their bike if I don't have the parts.
Yeah.
If it's mechanical, for sure. And there's a store on the West Coast. He's doing over $10,000 a month in service.
Who's this? Is it John?
I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's so involved, and like, they do everything, don't they? Except, but yeah, he works on everything.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not giving away the farm because, and again, like if somebody were to ask me somebody's actual numbers, had they shared it with me, that's privileged information. So
yeah, for sure.
So I mean, for me, I don't think that I'm hiding anything, because I know that John is very adamant about being able to do service, and so he's on fire with it. And what I like is he takes, whether you have acoustic bikes or electric bikes, doesn't matter the brand, he'll look at it.
Yeah.
And it's a very good profit center. But of course, for you right now, that comes back to automate, delegate, eliminate. So you don't want to eliminate that, because in my world, I think that service is fantastic.
For sure.
And I would highly encourage you to, hey, you know what? I got to get a wrench in here, even part-time. You don't need to get a jack of all trades, which is what you are, because you're the guy who knows it all within the store. Start mentoring somebody who is keen on getting into the bike industry. I think even if it was like, hey, 4 hours a week,
yeah,
you get somebody in and they just get to start doing the basics, even assembling bikes. You get a young person who wants to get involved, who's obviously dressed correctly and polite. And one of the things that I've recently taken, not recently, but the hiring process is something that a lot of people get wrong.
Yeah.
You could put out an ad in terms of what you want to hire and be specific. It's like, hey, we are Adam and Camry, and we are from Pedigo Chattanooga, and this is what we're looking for in an employee. You're always early. You're always prompt. You're willing to take a joke. You got to have a good sense of humor. You got to love people, blah, 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 and be specific. And then you can also say stuff like, you know, if it was me, you know, I have ADD and I'm a high energy guy and my energy isn't for everybody. So you've got to know this going in, and you just outline it. And then you could send this off, and then you could also put a little bit of a test. You know, fill out this form and get it to me by Friday by 5 o'clock. Well, if somebody sends it to you at 5:05, even if they're the perfect person, in my world, you're gone, because you can't be late. And so what you do is you eliminate, again, it's just like advertising, you're repelling the people you don't want, and then you have your short list, and then you interview them, and then you give people a, you know, okay, you're on probation for 90 days. And I just think that for you, you're going to be able to get the right candidate, even, and again, the right part-time candidate. There are people out there that want to be in the bike industry, and this whole shop service thing for you to be able to mentor somebody real quick and onboard them, I think is something that you might want to consider quickly. Like, I would put that in the important list, because I think that's one of your strengths, Adam. I mean, you're, you know, and it'll help you, again, just a part-time employee. So I'm going to put in, again, this is your list.
Yeah.
You could do with it what you want. I'm not telling you, you got to, I'm making suggestions with it. So, but I think it's money, which is why I'm going to make it green.
All right.
I'm just going to do this so I don't pull my laptop off. So I'm going to say part-time PT employee. And again, part-time, it's like 3 hours a week just to get somebody in and get them to start training and build out that want list. Putting up a shop sign. Some of the stores have done this now, and they put together packages in terms of, here's what you're doing for a tune-up, and like Tucson does it great. They've got Jesus over there has put together a I think they calling it the hug, and like, it's all about love, right? So it's like, oh, here's the big hug, and here's the high five, and so they've named it different things. And again, understanding who their customer is, you know, they're not looking for the Lycra wearing cyclist who's out doing a century.
For sure.
Right? Because you tell somebody on a Pedigo, hey, you know, or you want to go do a crit, and they're going to be like, like they, right? So we focus on who we know, and we speak to them in a language that they understand. And that's also important to know with your people in your shop.
Yeah.
And that, again, coming back to John as the example, he has made it very clear that he's the authority and the expert, not only on electric bikes, but on bikes in general for service, because he's got the right people in the shop to do it.
Yeah.
He just happens to be selling electric bikes as well. And what's happening is people are bringing in the bikes, and then Camry, just for fun, even if you're coming in with, you know, like a Trek Madone or a specialized S-Works carbon, no sweat, just for fun. Hop on this, and somebody might say, this isn't my kind. It's like 5 words. Who do you know who? I just want you to ride it around the block, and then I want you to think about while you're riding, who do you know who that would love to be able to keep up with you because you're a monster and we'd have a product that could help you? Who do you know who that has a bad hip, bad back, bad knee that they could now get back into cycling again? Who do you know who that could use a bike to be able to go to work instead of riding in a cage and putting up, you know, gaseous emissions into our atmosphere? And we start asking the who do you know who question, and suddenly you get guys that are triathletes and they go, you know what, I never thought of it from that perspective. And then they're sending you the appropriate people, because the people that do ride, they have people that ask them all the time, hey, you ride a bike. Unfortunately, what they're doing is they're thinking, well, you got to get an S-Works. And it's like, no, you don't need an S-Works, Mr. or Mrs. Pedigo customer. Like, we know that the Pedigo customer is a flat-footed rider when they start.
Yeah.
And then over time, we'll ride, you know, and a lot of the Pedigo stores, they don't look at it from that perspective. They're going right to, oh no, we got to put the saddle up super high.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I've taken into account is like, you know, you want the customer to feel as comfortable, just like you say, safe. And so anytime they're getting on the bike for the first time, they're like, oh, well, shouldn't my seat be up a little higher? I'm like, well, the bike is a lot heavier than normal. I want you to have control, so we're going to keep you a little lower, and then as you get more comfortable, then you can raise your seat up. But
I really appreciate that you bring that up. You know, the for females, for ladies, the word safe is a big one. Mm-hmm. Safe is actually a sales word. So I talk about, you know, when I mention, hey, we've got disc brakes on our bikes. What nice thing about that is when just by pressing down just ever so lightly, you can stop on a dime and you're going to feel safe. Yeah. So you're planting the seed where I mean, I was recently talking to my stepmom about this, about the fact that whether she was alone or whether she was in even alone in an area of the city that was suspect or smack dab downtown, if she's alone and doesn't matter the color of the person's pigmentation, if she was alone and there was a group of men, she doesn't feel safe. Whether there's one guy, 4 guys, doesn't matter the color. She's like, I just don't feel safe when I'm alone. And that's telling, right? Yeah. Like as men, I just, you know, and now, of course, my daughters are 21, 24, 29, and I'm like I realize, based on these other conversations, safe is such a critical word, and you know, it's important. So let's do the review real quick. So we talk about your customer, 50 years old, local, they're affluent, they're educated in college, their health is okay, they're starting to have ailments, which is why we're going to ask the appropriate question. We know they're good negotiators, mostly female, okay, so which is great, and they purchase by desire. It's something that they want. And what's interesting in this context is that old adage of happy wife, happy life. It goes both ways, but the truth of the matter is she's making the buying decision. Even when he's going to be looking for a bike for himself, if they have to go talk to their specific spouse, I've seen too many salespeople focus on the male, and even when it's the bike is for her, and he's come in doing the fact finding, when she makes that decision of I want this bike, people are buying based on who they know, like, and trust. So the way we speak to them is important. And I think we can actually take this. You'll be pleased to know that you'll be able to continue this rental number, but you'll be able to get the renter to transition to a buyer. Sean Chavez in San Diego is a perfect example of that. He was doing big numbers in rentals. His numbers weren't great in purchases, and we were able to help him, you know, do a little bit of a transition from from renter to buyer, which is important. It's part of your business. So up there, we talked about playing your A game. Acknowledge everybody who comes in, but also remember that you're the authority and that you're going to be accountable to each other to always have high energy. Believe in what you're selling, because that is a powerful tool in your mindset. We talked about your heavy duty why, right? Your passion for cycling, helping people, lifestyle, vision of the planet so that it's super clean, a super safe place to live, eco-friendly back here. You might not see it, but it says, you've always dreamt of owning your shop. Pedigo's program is awesome. And having a love for the community. And then up here is your 4 quadrants, which we've just added yesterday, the map that Camry's going to get done by next week, Tuesday. You can go to Fiverr and Upwork. There's another site, by the way, that's called Free Up. You can go to Free Up and you find yourself third-party people. That's another one that I had forgotten about. Okay. And then we talked about having a YouTube channel and repurposing. And we just added the part-time employee. Quick review, getting you to stretch outside of your comfort zone. Because when you get out of your comfort zone, you get happy people, happy clients, happy customers, and then they refer other people. And that gets you truly into your money zone. You got to do the things that you've never done to be able to get the things that you've never had. The importance of bobs, butts on bikes. We're going to be able to literally double our business on not only on first-time visitors, but on B-backs by being able to improve our test ride numbers. The more test rides we get, the more sales we'll get on the first visit. The other aspect of this is the more test rides you get, the more waivers are filled out, the more you'll be able to have email addresses and phone numbers to be able to do follow-up, because your fortune's in your follow-up. And that's absolutely critical. Again, you want to be able to automate, delegate, and eliminate so that you can free up your time doing whatever your 5% of genius is. And right now, it has to be sales. because that type of revenue and income is going to be able to, and profit dollars is going to help you, be able to bring in these people and delegate accordingly. Cameron and I jumped quickly into the SOS yesterday. We did a little bit of practice. We're going to do a little bit more. We're going to do some SOS today again. Sales objection system. It's a 2-step system. Step 1, acknowledge the person. Step 2, ask a question. It's supposed to be a question mark, but again, I failed art class. Just for fun, this should definitely become part of your lexicon, especially in the world of pedagogy. This just makes so much sense. It's disarming, and it's truly something that puts no pressure on people. And I've been using just for fun, even back when I was selling treadmills in my early 20s. It would be, I would walk on the treadmill first very quickly to show people how easy it is. And then I would say, you know what, just for fun, hop on. And they would hop on. And then I would just show them the buttons. Well, no different than the buttons on the bike. I mean, I don't get into the things with too much detail in terms of the set button and everything else, but I'll say using my finger, this one, not this one, I would say just press the button and go ahead and press the plus key. And I get them to press it before they take off for their long ride, right? So we do the mini spin first. I go first, I come back. They get, then I go, okay, just for fun. Hop on. They hop on. I get their full detail for follow-up information because they need to be responsible for themselves. Put away my phone. Then they go. And then they come back. And then I'll talk about what you do next. We talked about sell what's available today. And people don't want to be sold. They want to choose to buy. So you want to give them choices. Minimum of 2, maximum of 3. Which is why you're going to ask those 6 questions after they come back from their mini spin, right? If I only show one option, people are going to go want to shop around. Or if they've actually fallen in love with it, then they're going to say, yeah, I want to go home and do some research, and they're bullshitting you, and they're actually going to want to go on their phone and see or their computer and see if they can get it for a lower price. And if I cuss too often, put me in my place and let me know, because I apologize. Putting up the map and making sure that you're getting your delivery rates up there so that you're creating value. And then we just talked about the shop rate. And then again, somebody's going to ask, well, what's VIP? VIP, if you purchased a bike from us, you pay this per hour. Because you didn't buy from us, we'll take care of you. And we have we match the local shop rates. And that's your shop rate. But if you're VIP, now, again, you're saying you match the shop rates. There might be shop rates that are even higher. So I would put the average and then make sure your VIP rate, it could be a difference of $10. The VIPs get more than just a discount rate. VIPs, sir, who you bought a rad power, here's the thing. I'll look at your rad and do a diagnosis. But just know, I can't keep your rad in here, and I don't stock rad parts. So I'll do the diagnosis. I'll give you your bike back. You're going to have to call rad and get your parts. And then I have to charge you this rate to be able to put it together because that's our company policy. And just know this, I'll put a service ticket on your bike, but all of my VIPs, my customers, they get front of the line. So if I have a VIP that comes in, just you got to know this. If I have a VIP that comes in and they've got a problem with their bike, because they've given me the love, I got to give it back to them. Their bikes come first. So I'll get around to your bike, but it is what it is. And again, that just lets people know that, the Pedago customer, your customer, the people that have bought bikes from you, they are VIPs. And you'll still be able to help other people, and they can choose to go somewhere else. So you're not necessarily repelling people, but you're simply saying, hey, listen, you should have bought a Pedago. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
And you're allowed to make more money at it. So like this difference of $30 is definitely going to more than pay for an employee.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the idea. Like, I mean, if you've got to do a tune-up, why don't you do tune-ups on any bike? Whether it's an acoustic bike or an electric bike, or whether it's another electric bike brand, as long as it's a tune-up, you're not working on the electrical. Because again, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, when it comes down to it, an electric bike's essentially got 4 problems that you can have with it. It's display, motor, controller, battery. Yeah. That's it. So, and the truth is, a lot of the companies now, they're providing modular systems. So as long as you have, it's plug and play. You're not, I find it like, have you ever had to take a battery apart and do some soldering?
Of course.
Yeah, most stores don't, by the way. You've done it, which is great. A lot of the stores won't do it now. And Pedigo's getting to a point where they're just sending people batteries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why won't stores do it?
Some people are afraid to do it. So they don't want to just touch it. Like I've talked to, I couldn't tell you the percentage, but I've talked to a lot of stores that say that like they just don't want to do it, which surprises me. I mean, because once you've learned how to do it, it's really not that challenging.
But that's also, you know, like we had touched on, I think on day one, so the idea that these people are not as equipped and, you know, they're just doing it because they have money and they want some spare time or like time to, you know, it's not the love for, I mean, it may be the love for the bike, but it's not the love for the work on the bikes. And like most people don't even go to tech training, I don't feel.
Which is bizarre.
Yeah, that should be an absolute requirement.
It's a requirement. Yeah. I think
they don't do it is beyond me.
I think tech training, and obviously I feel the same way about sales training, it should be an ongoing process because there's always new things to learn. Yeah. I've personally been in sales my whole career, and I'm always learning new stuff. In fact, the longer I've been at the game of sales, the more I realize that I have stuff to learn, which is why I have a coach.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I learn and I go to not only to his workshops, but I go to other things and I spend money, whether it's on books or training programs or networking groups, because I need to learn more because it's evolved. The process is not the same as it was 25 years ago. It's completely different. And part of it is because of this. This technology has really made it a lot easier for people to be informed, and it's also a question of being over-informed.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys that story about being in Syracuse, New York, where I was at that?
I don't think so.
Okay, so let me go back to this, and so I was in I was a rep for Vision Fitness, and I was in Ottawa, Ontario, Eastern Canada, and you're familiar with Rob Gronkowski from the New England Patriots? Yeah. Okay, so his father, Gordy, happens to be a friend of mine. He owns a chain of stores in New England and in Buffalo and all in the Northeast. So this is years ago, but Gordy was putting together back then a Midnight Madness sale. And so I got asked, hey, Joe, can you, because I was in the Ottawa area, my sales manager back then said, Joe, do you mind driving down to Syracuse to the G&G Fitness store and just working your Midnight Madness sale? I said, oh, this is going to be a riot. This is going to be fun. Cool. So I drove down, and I got there at about 9:30 at night. The store's closed at this point, but they got a live radio remote. They got TV there, and the store was open from 11 to 1. So it's 2 hours. So basically 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's crazy. They don't do it anymore because things have changed, but it just gives you an idea. And so what ended up happening is I'm on the floor, and again, I'm working for Vision Fitness, and I'm on the floor at one point, and the place just at 11 o'clock, it just swarms of people came in. It was crazy. So, I mean, you got to be quick. You don't have time to spend, an hour with people to talk about a $3,000 or $4,000 treadmill. You've got to get, okay, let's get down to it because we're busy right now and I want to be able to help you. So customer, long and short of it, at one point, I walk up to the sales desk, and the guy, I want to say the guy's name was Phil. He was the manager of the store. And I would say, Phil, this lady wants a Vision 9200. This gentleman is going to take the Vision 9450. This couple is taking the Life Fitness recumbent bike, the Life Fitness 5500, and this family is taking the Precor 9.25 treadmill. So keep in mind, I've sold 4 products literally in the span of seconds at the same time. Not in the span of seconds. It took me about 20 minutes to get all 4, and they all averaged about $2,500 to $3,500. Some a little bit more, some a little less. But I walk up with 4 different sales all at once. And this guy Phil's looking at me like, what the hell? Right? And the place is packed. The point of the story is this, right? I'm doing either or best, better, good. Okay? One of the sales guys at the end of this whole thing, it's 1:30 in the morning, we've shut down the store, we're sitting all around the sales counter, and we're all having a beer. and fitness store. It's hysterical. We're having beer and pizza in a fitness store at 1:30 in the morning. Just all of it, just, the picture and the sound don't match, but whatever. And one of the sales guys looks at me and he says, dude, you're a turncoat. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, you sold Precor and Life Fitness and you work for Vision. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, man. I was here to help you guys out.
Yeah.
And the customers that came in, they had needs that Vision could not fulfill. So I did my job and provided them with the product that was appropriate for their needs. And then I said, I admittedly, I pushed back and I said, so, hey man, how did it go with that family of 4 that you spent all that time with? And he was like, well, they didn't buy. And I mean, I did that on purpose because I could see, as I was doing my stuff, you could see the whole store, people going on. This guy had spent with a family of 4, easily an hour in a 2-hour window.
Yeah.
And he showed them, I mean, I figured out he must have showed them at least 7 different treadmills. So why did they leave? It's just too confusing.
Yeah.
They couldn't make up their mind. What I was doing was best, better, good, either or. I make it I mean, it's not a secret in terms of how I approach it. I get people on the product and then I always walked away. And the beauty for you guys as a Pedigo store is you don't have to go out for a ride with people. Like there's some Pedigo stores that they'll do that. And I think that's fine, right? If you want to go to ride with the prospect or your client, I think it's okay. But one of the things that I learned very quickly is if I get out of the way, people get a chance to think about it.
Think for themselves, yeah.
100%. Because the number one reason that people, an excuse that people will say is, I want to go home and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if I get you out on a bike, so again, part of the thing that I was doing in this context at G&G Fitness, and I've done it in bike shop after bike shop, and I think it's even more appropriate, is people come in and again, process, right? So step by step. Hey folks, be with you in a quick sec. And then, hey, right on, welcome here. First time here? Yeah. How'd you hear about us? You ever ride a Pedigo before? Just for fun, come with me. I go first, I come back, set up the bike, get their information. They go, they come back. Who's it for? Who else is going to use it? How are you going to use it? Where are you going to ride it? How long is your typical ride? Are you planning on riding alone or in a group? Are there any physical issues that I need to know about? Ankles, knees, hips, spine, heart, or lung? Well, based on what you just told me, I've got a couple options for you, or I've got 3 different options for you. Just for fun, let's get you on this one. And then I would look around in the store and go, okay, you know what? I want you to play with the buttons, or in this case, I want you to go for a ride, and I don't want you to come back for at least 10 minutes. And then I can go deal with the other people.
Yeah.
Right? And then same thing, I go process, because the idea is butts on bikes, butts on bikes, butts on bikes. It's not only about getting their contact information, it's creating what's called the buying frenzy. So I'm going into what's called the popcorn method. And the idea of the popcorn method is when I get 3, 4, 5 people out on bikes and they all come back, and then I get one person to pop. I just need one. This is magic. And it's like, so Adam, what do you think, man? Which one do you like better? Oh, I like that black edition. Awesome, man. You want to take it?
Yeah.
Awesome. So the second, then I go, notice I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Bold. And then I terrific. Congratulations. Welcome to the Pedigo family. The moment that you say yes, congratulations. I'm now confirming that you've made the right decision. Then I do this. I'm just going to go and check my desk. I'll say something like, I'm going to go check, see if my desk is still there, or that's my little joke. Or I'll say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go and get everything ready to write this up. And then I will announce it to everybody else. And I'll say, hey guys, folks, I'll be right back with y'all, because I'm dealing with several different people now. Folks, I'll be right back with y'all. Adam just ended up picking up the black edition here. So I just got to go do something for him real quick, but I promise I'll be right back. And then I leave. What's going to happen?
they're gonna be more intrigued about purchasing because Steve's leaving with one.
Yeah.
And not only that, I'm leaving Adam in the middle of it to bask in the glory.
Yeah.
And people are gonna go, "You're buying one? Really?" And then Adam's gonna go, "Yeah, you know what? This is the right bike, blah, 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 blah." And this customer becomes my salesperson.
Yeah.
And my record is 27 bikes in 4 hours, 27 e-bikes in 4 hours. It was awesome. But nothing compared. Like I've got somebody who I did this training with. Their record is 42. So I mean, I did well. These other people crushed it. But the point is this. So it's great. And I can only tell you in my context, I got invited to a store where they had done tons of marketing and it was a sidewalk sale. So they had there was easily 100 people that came in over 4 hours. And there were other bike brands there. It wasn't just the brand I was working for at the time, but it was funny. I personally sold 27 bikes. And how did I do it? Exactly how I'm telling you how I did it here. Butts on bikes, butts on bikes, butts on bikes, butts on bikes. 5 or 6 people at once in several different times over the 4 hours. And then it was like, all right, you know what, Camry, I'll be right back. Congratulations. Hey, folks, I'm going to be right back with you. Camry just bought this one right here. I'll be right back. And I get out of the way. And then what would happen is 2, 3, 4, well, we might as well we'll get the same one. And then it would be like, instead of just Camry, now I've got 5 or I've got 6. And then I would walk the people over. And it was Sam Townsend from, he used to be known as Myron's Extreme Machines, and now he's Electric Bicycle Center. So you can look him up. He's in Fullerton, California. You can even call him up and say, "Is this true? Joe Marcoux sold 27 bikes?" He'll tell you. Yep. It was a classic. And so, and he had like other brands there. He had High Bike, he had Ejo, he had like a ton of other brands. I was with BH at the time. So the process works. And again, it's just a question of knowing that I'm going to be able to look at how busy I am and go, okay, I'm going to get you out for 10 minutes. You know what? I want you back in 10 to 15 because I want everybody coming back at once.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
So this way I can create the domino or the popcorn effect. Once you get one pop, then you can get a whole bunch of them. And what's great is you don't become a salesperson. You just get out of the way and allow the customer who's so excited that they made the right decision because I congratulated them, right?
Yeah.
So Camry, let me give you an example. As I reach over, let's pretend somebody buys a bike from you. Typically, I'm pulling out my credit card. So if I give you my credit card and you take my money, what do you typically do at that point? Like you put it through the machine, and let's say that the whole invoice for my bike is $6,600, taxes included. What do you say after you're going to give me my credit card back after the money goes through? What do you say?
Thank you very much.
Right, right? Of course. So now let's pretend that I take your credit card, right? And I'm going to take your credit card and I'm going to run it through the machine, and then I'm going to go, okay, yeah, Camry, there you go. Transaction is completed. Here's your card back. All right, go ahead and take the card back, Camry. Play along. Excellent. And Camry, congratulations. Welcome to the Pedigo family. What are you going to say?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Right. A lot of times when I say congratulations, what do you say after? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Right.
Yay.
So what's interesting is when you congratulate someone, like I've just been given $6,600 of your money. I tell you congratulations, and then you say thank you for me taking your money. You get it?
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're implanting in the subconscious mind that Camry, Adam, you made the right decision. Congratulations. Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
This way you lower the probability of buyer's remorse, because it happens in a lot of Pedigo stores. It happens in a lot of stores in general with these high ticket items. But when you congratulate someone, oh my God, yeah, I made the right choice here.
That makes
And they
sense.
have.
Like thinking about, so normally, whenever you cash money out, yeah, you say, oh, thank you guys for your purchase or whatever. Like, thanks
Right.
for coming in, we're here for you, whatever. But after you just said that, like it just sprung in my head. Like when you're saying thank you, you're basically saying thank you for the sale. Like thank
Right.
you for
Thank you
the
for your
money. And
Right.
making us a profitable business,
Yeah.
so to speak,
Correct.
versus congratulations. Like, thank you for, thank you for making the right decision on the right bike. Yeah.
Right. So you're on it, Adam. So that's exactly the approach. Again, I love learning more about neurolinguistic programming and wordsmithing because these subtleties make a massive difference. And as you get comfortable in your approach, your belief in terms of what you're offering people, and you get better at this skill, you're going to feel much more at ease because it's just going to become muscle memory. And so within the template, when somebody purchases, you congratulate them, and then you go, hey, before you go, folks, can I take a photo of you in front of your bike? Okay, great, awesome. And hey, can I have your permission that I can put this up on social media? Terrific. Hey, do you mind, could we do a quick video? Who do you know who, right? And then 2 people, and then I do the video, and then I can send it off to them so they can text it to their friends, and with their permission, I can put it up on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and I'm putting it all over. And it's not just a photo of somebody in front of their bike. Like a lot of Pedigo stores are doing the photo with somebody in front of the bike. That's fine, but the video becomes social proof.
But how do you, amongst everything that goes on, in a day, and as well as, if you are dealing with multiple customers, how do you, I don't know, it's tough and it's all repetition, I guess. It's the learned behavior, but it's difficult to like sit back and like take that time. Because our idea was, to take a photo of every person and create a collage or whatever, and also use it for social media. And I think after, all the bikes that we've sold, we've probably only done it with maybe 3 or 4, just because it's kind of like, they're happy, they're getting going, and most people, as soon as you get them outside with their bike, they're like, all right, well, let's like see you later. And
they're eager to go.
Quick to leave rather than trying to convince them to be around for a second.
I'm going to send you the additional template. In fact, I'll show you this. Let me just share my screen with you guys. So here, I sent you guys this template, right? Just the sales template.
Okay.
But then there's another version of this that's not as clean looking that I have here that I can send you. And as you go through it, then, and we're going to go through this exercise later today, you can see right here, like we go through all of our questions, and then it's based on what you just told me, best, better, good. Then you do the real test ride, which is whether it's a 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute ride, depending on how busy you are.
Yep. And
then you want to assume the sale, and I'll go over that in a little bit this morning with you. And then once you've gotten to the sale, and then of course you're going to run into objections, which is classic, and we're going to cover the top 3. So I'll send you this, what are your top 3? Your product's too expensive. What kind of deal can you give me? And I want to go home and do some research. And then there's the follow-up. I'm also going to send you these are the chapters of what we're going through. I've been bouncing all over the place because I'm getting excited with you too. I don't know why it is. I'm just like, but you're still getting the content. So don't worry, I'm on it. So I have my systemized approach and my template. These are the chapters of my book, as a matter of fact, and we're going chapter for chapter. So I'll send you these so you'll see, hey, you know what, after this is going to be this, after this. So the systemized of your day or your approach, it's congratulate, photos, video, permission to post, and then put people into the buyer form so that you have automated follow-up. And I'll go over the rest of this over the next few days that we keep training. So so far we've gotten to here. I bounced like way down the list already, but don't worry, we're going to go through order. It's all good. So I want to jump into cut to the chase, and I will send you the chapter list and the other. And Confucius say bad handwriting better than good memory. So I'm going to send you the buyer script, the rental to buyer script. I'm going to send you the other full template with SOS. So you'll have that. And then I'm going to send you the chapters. This way you can look at it, and then you can edit it to the way that you feel is appropriate for your policies and procedures.
Okay. So,
and you'll see, we're going to be like I just talked about creating a buying frenzy using the popcorn method, right? So we just talked about that. We'll a little bit later, we'll talk about dealing with time vampires, getting good phone, social media hacks. So right now, let's talk about, again, I talked about acknowledging and welcoming people. You have a template in your hands now. I talked about the importance of getting the metrics, getting the follow-up early so that you can do the follow-up automatically, and then cutting to the chase. So let's quickly talk about cutting to the chase. Cutting to the chase is basically when you have somebody who's done the mini spin, so they've gone for the first, again, rental, somebody, I might come by and rent them sometime. Awesome, is this your first time here? How'd you hear about us? You ever ride one before? Never, just for fun, let's go. So off you go. You go first, you come back, you get them on, you get their information, they go, they come back. If the look on their face is absolute joy and delight, ask. Cut to the chase. And this is why. There's still going to be a percentage of people who are going to go, how much is this? Or they're going to go like, you're right. They're just going to freak out. The beauty of cutting to the chase, like I asked Don DiCostanzo when he had brought me over for lunch to discuss me doing this stuff with him a couple years back, I asked him, how long does it typically take to sell a Pedigo? And he said, Joe, about 90 minutes to 2 hours. And I said, if I could show you a way to be able to do it in 20 minutes or less, would that interest you? And he said, can't be done. I'm like, it can be done. And it can be done. Like, I'm telling you, Adam, the whole popcorn method is under 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So if somebody walks in 10 seconds later, I can ask them 3 questions, and in 60 seconds, I've got their butt on a bike. Like 60 seconds. It's all, hey, folks, be with you a quick sec. High energy, right? Then it's, hey, so it's first time in? Yeah, awesome. If it's no, then it means they've been in before. Oh, who are you dealing with? I was dealing with Camry. Let me go get her for you. Because, I mean, she's already got a relationship with the people, so I'm just going to get out of the way, right?
Yeah.
But the odds are right now, because you're new, first time in, awesome. How'd you hear about us? I saw something on Instagram, and I'm kind of curious. Okay, cool. Instagram. You ever ride a Pedigo before? No. Awesome. Just for fun. Let's go. You go first. You come. Like, I mean, it's just hammer and hammer and hammer and hammer, because when you get staff, you want them to do it in a process. I mean, if McDonald's can get a 16-year-old kid to figure out how to be able to do a process and have billions and billions of people served, it's no different. Pedigo can be like literally the same. And the price point, we believe that because it's a $4,000 invoice, that it's got to be, it needs a lot of time to make the purchase. And I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but I can tell you that in my experience, and I think in your experience, you've said this already, Adam, is that you've had somebody go for just a quick little spin. They come back and you go, so what do you think? And they go, oh my God, this is awesome. I mean, if they say it's phenomenal, cut to the chase. Do you want to take it?
Yeah.
You may get 10 out of 100 saying, yeah, let's do this. I can't believe I'm buying this right now. Like, they're just going to do it. If you don't ask, you don't get. Yeah. That's fact. So cut to the chase. Like 90 people out of 100 might go, are you nuts? How much is this thing? And you say, oh, it's $39.95. What? And it's like, okay, no sweat, man. And then who's this bike for? Who else is going to use it? How are you going to use it? Like, go in, just focus on your questions, because when I ask questions, I control the direction of the conversation. So cutting to the chase will save you time. It doesn't necessarily mean, it's just like a shortcut that you can put into your template. If you cut to the chase, awesome. Then you go to your quote with your specific accessories, which we're going to talk about later. You're going to go to the quote with the specific accessories, and then you're going to, again, congratulate, write it up, congratulate again, and then before they leave, like, it doesn't take long to, hey, real quick, hey, everybody, it's Now, Joe here from Pedigo Chattanooga. I'm with Adam. He's the proud new owner of a Pedigo Elevate. And then the question asked is, Adam, why did you buy it? And then you of course, they're going to be excited. It was awesome. I did my research, blah, blah, blah. All right, so if you want to try and Elevate as well, that'd be great. Come by and see us and blah, blah, blah. Click permission to post, post it up.
Cool.
And then you can send it. And if you choose to name 2 people that do it, I mean, I'll even go a step further. This is not off topic because it is important. Just to show you that you can do more than one video. Let's turn off all of this. So you guys can see my desktop?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. So here I am in Pedigo Alpharetta. And hopefully you can hear it.
Hey everybody, it's Joe Marcoux with Pedigo Electric Bikes. I'm with Greg Godwin, the owner of Pedigo Alpharetta, and Amy, the newest member of the Pedigo family with her soon-to-be fully red and brown packaged out with foldy lock Pedigo Boomerang. So welcome to the family, Amy. Amy, real quick, what made you pick this bike?
Oh, it's you guys.
There you go.
Is that
Thank
right?
you. That's perfect.
That's fantastic. You know what? That's really sweet. You can't see, but I'm blushing behind the camera. Well, we appreciate you and welcome. And happy early birthday, because this is Amy's birthday present to herself. Thumbs up and welcome to the Pedigo family. Great job, guys. Thank you.
Big hugs.
Very cool.
Right.
I like that.
Cool, right? So now she made the purchase of the one bike. Now watch this. That was Amy. I did a second video with her. Okay. So the first video was, congratulations, she bought this bike. Why did you buy it? She said it was you guys. And I will tell you that I remember this like it was yesterday. She is a flight attendant with Delta Airlines. She had just the day before tried a Magnum for $1,000 to $1,200 less in California. And she bought something that, again, for $1,200 more, for the reason, and again, I'm a big believer in the Boomerang because it's such a unique product. So it was a walk-through design, not step-through design. She loved the adjustable handlebar stem, which a lot of other bikes may have. But it was us. She bought because of us. It wasn't because of the price.
Yeah.
So again, high energy, go through the process. But here's Judy again.
Hi guys, my name is Joe Marcoux and I'm with Pedigo Electric Bikes in Alpharetta, and I'm with someone you know, which is Amy. And Amy, you just bought yourself a Pedigo, and you're gonna tell these folks that we're making this video for something.
Hey Judy, you need to have this bike, or one of these bikes, one of these electric bikes here, definitely.
So come by and see us, and come and talk to that guy right there. He's going to give you a free rental. It's worth $30.
$30?
Yeah, you can rent it out. So you and Amy can go out for a ride together for an hour or two, absolutely free of charge, and try it and go have a blast. Go have maybe a glass of wine after, and there you go.
All right.
So welcome to the family.
Hey.
Come see us.
Judy.
See ya.
Oh, I got this watch. Maybe you can get one too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So she's so stoked, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, like you see how I did it. It's not like this lavishly produced video. It's you know, like even the way Linda did it with that guy who's on the trail tracker. I mean, yeah. That's the beauty of being able to text somebody. You can call up Greg in Alpharetta. So Amy's friend Judy came in and bought a bike.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, and cost per lead, 0. Yeah. So birds of a feather, we go back to who's your customer avatar. If your customer is this type of person, they hang out with other people who are likely to behave and have the same kind of income and same mindset as they do. So we want to be able to attract that, and we can do it through video. I would rather see you do this kind of follow-up immediately and at 0 cost per lead than spend time trying to advertise and spending too much money doing it. Like, to me, it's logical. I've got a way to be able to magnetize my customer with other people who they know, like, and trust. And so it's like the level of excitement that she had. And we did the first video, and then that was the second one. And I said, Amy, who do you know who, right? And let's make a video to. And she said, hey, Judy, you got to get one of these bikes, right? And her excitement of, I got this watch. I mean, like, it's crazy. So So that's the idea of cutting to the chase, and then again the power of video post sale, absolutely huge. The other thing though is that you using your template, you're going to be able to. We talked about it briefly already. Is leaving them alone by letting people go for a bike ride on their own. Again, I'm not opposed to going for a ride with them and hey, let's switch bikes.
Yeah.
Right. But I've done this sales training live with people many a time. And one perfect example of this is I was in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I was with Colin and her name is escaping me. Okay. Anyways, we were there all day. Store was open. Nobody came in. It was 5:45. Couple comes in, and first words out of her mouth were, "I'm not buying today." And I was like, hey, like we didn't even get a chance to say hello. It was, "I'm not buying today," as we looked over, and I was like, "Welcome here. Is your first time in?" "Yeah." "How'd you hear about us?" Right? And they were from Richmond, British Columbia. It's amazing. I can remember all these freaking details, and I can't remember the person's name in the store. And she actually was working for a small airline as well. Long and short of it, her and her husband. And she was looking for a latch because she wanted to have this thing to be able to fit in this airplane. But it was a small airplane. It wasn't like a big airline. It was really, really tiny. Like they were doing drop-ins to islands and stuff off of the coast of British Columbia on the Sunshine Coast. Long and short of it, store closed at 6. It's 15 minutes to 6. And we got her on the bike and we told her, you know what? First of all, we just got her on the mini spin. She said, "I need a folding bike." And then her husband and I are standing there, and I looked at him and I said, "You know, you're next, right?" And he's like, "It's not for me." And then sure enough, she comes out, "Oh my God, honey, you got to try this." And I was like, "Yes, you're up."
Yeah.
So they both try it. And what we did was there was a latch that was folded up on a shelf, and we pulled that one off and we set it up, and we said, now it's like, 5 to 6. And we said, "Both of you get out of here for 15, 20 minutes. And they said, "Aren't you closing at 6? It's okay. Go."
Yeah.
They took off. They came back. I have somewhere in my archives the video of this. I kid you not. Anyways, it's Anne and Colin. Okay. So Anne in Vancouver will tell you that, and I know I have this in my YouTube video archives of a testimonial. The couple left, they came back, and I asked 3 more times if they wanted to take it. And then she said, "I'll take it." And her words in the video were, "I took this because you were persistent. Not that I was an a-hole, not that I was a nag. I was persistent."
Yeah.
And so it was about 6:30 by the time they left. So it was about a 45-minute process. But we suggested, get out of here for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, and here's what happened after they came back. Not only did she buy the bike, but she bought a slew of accessories to go with it. Nice. And this is the next part of our program here. And I want to confirm that I'm on the right set. So leave them
more real quick.
Yeah, go for it, man. So
it
wasn't, man. It's Camry. Well, go for it, woman. She's ready.
I wanted to tell you. So yesterday, I missed this portion at the end of it, and she was telling me about it. But
what's that?
Which port? Okay, so last night, so we have a roommate that's kind of not. I'm not going to say disrespectful. He just is not cleanly. We have to tell him multiple times to do things, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't do things necessarily without being asked. And yesterday we had just started the dishwasher and everything when we left, and we got home last night and we were doing the dishes from our dinner and going to put stuff in the dishwasher, and he had already done the dishes. Or he put the dishes away out of the dishwasher. And
outstanding.
She said, hey, Zach, thank you for doing the dishes. I appreciate you. And he said, what did he say? He was just like, no problem. You're welcome. Blah, blah. But normally he would just been like, yeah.
Is that right?
Having that I appreciate you. Yeah. I guess it kind of like made him think a little bit more about it.
That's great.
Yeah. But then also during the day, we had a lady come in with a little guy, her neighbor's son or whatever. And she came in, she was just really just looking around. And as soon as we started, gave her all the questions and whatnot, and we let her look for just a second. And then we were just like, oh, you want to, we didn't do the exact script, but we were like, oh, you want to go out for a ride? And she was just like, I don't know. And then I was like, well, Cameron, why don't you go ride with her? And then as soon as we said that, she was just like, oh, okay, yeah, let's
right on.
And so, they both went out.
That's just for fun. Let's go.
Yeah, did a quick ride, and then she came back in. She was ecstatic. She liked it. And she had just moved to the area not long ago, she said. But she started looking around, and, I mean, I think she'll be back to purchase one. But then she really started thinking her son's in school at Alabama.
Okay.
And, in Tuscaloosa, and she was just like, well, this could be really great for him. He lives a little bit off campus, and it would be a good way for him to get around. And so she started like really picturing like what bikes he could use and blah, blah, and all that stuff. But then, I don't know, it was just a really good imprint into her mind. But we also came to the conclusion about the whole, I started telling her, because I know we've talked about the safe aspect.
Yes.
And I was like, if we get ladies in here by themselves, or like they're the sole person looking, then if as long as she's in here, have her deal with those ladies, with them, and then me deal with the gentlemen or the more of the couples that are the males are more looking, because I think it really resonated with her, the fact that Camry was very involved. And
I think that's a great point. The reality of feeling safe in any type of environment. And there's going to be times where Camry may not be there, and there might be you and a service technician who, by the way, I've been into a few shops where their service technicians are female, and they're amazing at not only dealing with the bikes, but also being very gracious and dealing with the prospects and or customers. So, I think we have this, and I'll admit, I can admit fault when it happens. I can admit that when I got into the bike industry, I mean, it's so male dominant, and we need more women in this business. And, there are people that, like that wouldn't think, and I was one of them, that, there's female mechanics. Yeah. And there's like really like the founder of the professional bicycle, the PBMA, the Professional Bicycle Mechanics Association, she's on fire.
Okay.
Like, so you can look up I think it's pbma.org, and what they're doing is they're helping shops find mechanics, regardless of gender. It's just finding good mechanics that have the credentials. You could choose to either get somebody from the PBMA, or you could choose to mentor somebody who's young and bring them up the ranks. And then if you choose to, you could go, hey, I'm going to send you to a PBMA course, or like I went to UBI in Portland. Yeah.
Really? I went there too.
Did you really? Yeah.
It was 2011.
In Ashland or in Portland?
In Portland.
Okay. Yeah. I went to Portland. Yeah. It was, and I did it because I was reasonably new to the bike industry at the time, and being a fitness guy, I just said, you know what, I really need to learn my chops. And I still, I don't wrench enough, because it's a skill like anything else. So I can work on my bike in the garage, and a job that takes me 40 minutes would take a guy like you literally 5 to 7. Like I'm meticulous, but I'm slow at it. It is what it is. No different than sales, right? You get better at it. What takes 2 hours, you could condense it with tricks and whatnot. And you know how to use a crimper, and you can leave your own mark and everything else. It's like, it's like your own brand on the crimp and stuff. I've seen guys doing it.
Yeah. I used to focus on that. Do like an X or something like that.
Something cool. Yeah. I know I worked on that bike because there's my brand, I get it. I think it's really neat. So I think it's like, to me, whenever I walk into a shop, I truly feel it's like hats off to the mechanics, because what's interesting is, and I haven't forgotten about what you said about dealing with the appropriate customer, because a mechanic is also someone that a customer or a prospect will sometimes go, okay, the salesperson's busy. Then they'll walk up to the mechanic and go, hey, really? How often do these things break? Right? And your mechanic needs to be prepared to turn into a salesperson.
Yeah.
And these skills in this process will work for mechanics. I've shown mechanics the sales objection system, and they don't want to be salesy. Don't worry, you don't have to be salesy. You just have to have a system. And if you believe in the product and the services that you're offering, then it's not salesy at all.
Yeah.
So, and this is where I tell people, like, don't confuse my enthusiasm for being pushy. Don't confuse my enthusiasm for being pushy. Because again, you're an authority, right? You're the trusted advisor. So, in fact, it leads me to, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to add something here. Why are they seeing you? Like, if you need to get that, go for it.
Pedigo Chattanooga, this is Adam.
Why are they here?
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to touch on that in a quick sec, Camry, but you know what? What Adam said about having you deal with mostly the ladies and him dealing mostly with the men and or couples or whatever, it works. A valuable lesson, and I agree, like women do have a tendency to feel more comfortable with other women. There will be times where for whatever the reason, she may want to deal with Adam, and you might be picking up that vibe. And as salespeople, we have to be open. I call it drop the ego. And I'd be the first person to admit, back when I had my fitness store and I was young, I was cocky, I was making way too much money for my own good back at that age, and I thought my poop didn't stink and I could sell anything to everybody, right? And I quickly figured out, I should have figured it out sooner than later. And I know now that the importance of there's going to be some people who just don't like my face or they don't like my energy. And that's just, and you know what? I'm not going to lose sleep over it. What I need to do is I need to be able to go, okay, I'm never going to do business with this person. I may have somebody on my team who may do business with this person. So I've literally come to a place where I've gone, you know what? The vibe, and you could, whatever it is, just feel it. It's just not working. Best thing to do is go, you know what, folks, I think I want to introduce you to the resident expert on this particular product. And I would say, hey, you know what, folks, let me introduce you to Camry, right? So I'm talking right now, Adam, about the importance of dropping your ego and tagging off. Yeah. It's something that I admit when I was younger, I would think that I could sell anything to everybody. And it took me a couple of missed shots where people would leave and I'm like, wow, for some reason they just didn't like me. And the answer to that going in would have been, well, they don't like me. I don't know why. They don't like my face. They don't like my energy. I might remind them of a boyfriend that broke up with them. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The thing to do at that point is to go, you know what, Adam, I'm going to introduce you to somebody who actually is the resident expert on this particular, on the bikes that you're looking for. And then, Camry, are you free? Hey, Camry, I want to introduce you to Adam. And I might have already done some qualifying at that point. So Adam told me that the bike's for himself or the bike's for his wife, and she's going to do blah, 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 and go over all of the list. She's going to ride it, 3 times a week, use it as an off, something different than the car, blah, blah, blah. I go over the details, and I'll leave you guys to it. And I get out of the way. Because if I know, like, if just something, my intuition, you got to trust your gut. If something's off, tag off, like, because it makes no sense for me to spend all that time and energy with someone who's just not vibing on the same wavelength as me, and then go, hey, you know what? I can see. So, like you said before, women do have a tendency to relate better with other women, but there's going to be some times where, for whatever the reason, Camry and Mrs. Customer, they might not relate, and that's where you go, let me get Adam. He's an expert on this, and just switch. High five, tag off, and then take over. Or you could couples with couples, like to call it a double team. I'd call it a tag team. Going together as a team, and the two of you could deal with a couple and you talk about your experiences.
Yeah.
About, hey, you know, we use these bikes and we've done this, and you guys will be able to do what we're doing because you're the model, right? People want what you have. It's no different in a fitness store. I mean, people would come in and they'd go like, how come you have all this energy, and how do you stay lean, and what? And ultimately, it's I'm living a lifestyle and I want to share it with people. And so back then, just as now, I love to ride. I love to stay fit. I love to stay healthy. And so why are these people here in your store? You already told me, I already told you guys these ones. You're a trusted advisor. That's huge. Why else are they there?
Because they want to try something new. They want an e-bike. They want.
So they want to try bikes. That's great.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is important because you can't do this part online.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's critically important. Did I tell you the story about Pedigo Dunedin with the custom trike that they had?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to share the story now just because you brought it to mind. And again, we're going to finish this part. And it'll lead into a little bit of the SOS, which we're going to do today as well. A little bit more of. So now, of course, you're probably aware that Dunedin is no longer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
She's rebuilding, right?
I've reached out to Caroline a few times because I was slated to go do some sales training with them, and what ended up they ended up having the fire because they brought in an off-brand and they left the off-brand in the store. This is not the first time this happens with other bike brands, by the way, right? And I've been in contact with Rick and with Caroline, and what I recently heard from Steve in Tampa, and I can't confirm this, and it's not about rumor. It's just it sounds to me like Dunedin has decided they're not reopening.
Wow.
That they're and I think it's because there's something that's happened with the insurance and they're not getting it. Again, I on video recorded. I'm not looking to start a rumor or anything else.
No.
I think the world of Caroline. I think the world of Rick. I think the two of them together made a great team. The point of the story is this: I was visiting Dunedin, and they had taken, obviously the trike will only go to about 13 miles an hour, by recollection. So what they did was they went, and I want to say they went to J&B, and they got, and I can get you the details if you want. They basically took a fat tire trike and they Pedigoed it.
Okay.
So, and what they ended up doing is they customized this trike, and I got there and they were selling the trike that they put all the Pedigo parts on. They were selling it for $29.99, and I said, no way. You guys should sell this for $36.95. Like, and they thought, really? I'm like, yeah. Sure enough, this couple comes in, and older couple, heavier gentleman, and I put him on a boomerang at first, and it was the wrong bike. Like, he just couldn't get his leg up, so he didn't have the mobility. And then I said, you know what? Let's get you on this custom trike that Rick had made. Fat tire. It was really, really cool looking, and loved it. And then his wife looks at me and says, well, how much is that? And I said, $36.95. And she says, right, so we're trying it. And then she says, wow, that's a lot of money. I can get a Rad Power for half that price. And I said, right, because you're going to hear that once in a while. So using SOS, right, trusted advisor and everything else, why are they here? It'll meld together. You'll see where I'm going with this. Then I said, and I believe, by recollection, I want to say her name was Mary. And I'll say, Mary, I totally appreciate that you're doing your research. Acknowledge. I asked the question, how important is local service to you?
Very. Yeah.
Right. This is where Pedigo dealers make the mistake. The mistake that they make because they're so passionate and they believe so much in what they're offering. The answer that they typically get, because they get emotionally distraught when they hear Rad Power, is they go, when Mary would say, well, I can get a Rad Power for half that price, the reaction, and I've heard it countless times, is, well, you know, if you buy a Rad Power, you're not going to get service. And you're crashing and burning when you say that to someone, as opposed to acknowledge, ask the question, hey, you know what? I appreciate the fact that you're doing your research, Mary. That's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to come here and try ours. You could say, were you able to try Rad? Now, you got to be careful because now there's going to start popping up some spots, and they do have rental places that they recommend to go. So my suggestion is, hey, you know what? I'm glad that you're doing your research, Mary. How important is local service to you? And she said exactly this. It's very important. I said, okay. I said, so you see all these bikes that we have here? She said, yeah. I said, you realize that there's a difference between maintenance and service? Maintenance is just like in your car. You got to get regular maintenance, like a regular oil change. Because if you don't get a regular oil change, you're going to have to bring it in for service. And boy, oh boy, is that going to cost you later. So my question is, where are you going to get regular maintenance and service on your particular bike if you bought it online? There was silence for about 5 seconds, and her husband literally pulled out his wallet and he threw down his credit card and he said, let's just do it. I shit you not. I can't make this up. Yeah. And it was all based on SOS, and it was based on the fact that they came there to try, and they were looking for, and this is the other part, you're experts. You're experts. People are coming to see you because you have a level of expertise that you can't get online. Like reading it is not the same as trying before you buy. Okay? I think that we can also agree that service. Why are they here? You're offering service. We don't have to tell them that we offer service. You can ask the question to get them to think about the fact that, yes, we do offer service and we're bringing value, right? How important is service to you? And this is, I like to tell everybody this, and Adam, after UBI, you can agree. Every bike, I don't care which brand it is, every one of these bikes is going to require regular maintenance and tune-ups, and it's important to make sure that the company that you're dealing with has parts in stock to be able to service you.
Absolutely.
Now, if you do your regular maintenance, right, price is what you pay, value is what you get. So there's a difference between price and cost. Price is what you pay up front, but it could cost you dearly if you buy the wrong bike.
Yeah.
So how important is it for you to make
care of?
So right. So in both cases, how important you could say how important is it for you to make the right investment the first time?
Yeah.
And then hold. How important is it for you to make the right investment the first time? They're going to tell you, well, it's very important. Okay. I agree with you. This is why we bought into the Pedigo program, and let them know. We opened up a Pedigo store because we believe that the investment is so valuable to you, and the long-term cost, especially with a 5-year warranty. Doesn't it make sense that this is the better bike? Right? I mean, peace of mind is important. How important is your peace of mind? Knowing that 4 or 5 years from now, we're still going to be around and we're going to be able to provide you the level of service that you're looking for, as opposed to, we offer a 5-year warranty. Asking the question hooks the mind. Why else are they coming to see you? No wrong answers. Just throw it out there.
Why are they coming to see us? Rentals?
Great.
Or foot traffic. When they see a cool bike, they're like, "Oh, this is a new store. We're just, coming in and checking out your store."
Yeah. So you're good folks. I'm telling you to pat yourselves on the back. You offer great service. You have you're experts, and the fact that you have the experience that you have, like Adam, you're the UBI guy. You're passionate about bikes. You're good people. You're the trusted advisor. That's why they're coming to see you. There's a price. There's a price to that.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say that our bikes are, like when somebody says, how much are these when they're live and in person, with no hesitation, it's this. And I would say it's $29.95, killer. Because there's e-bikes right now that are $16,000.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great. Because for you, the value proposition is fantastic. An elevated $54.95 is a sick deal when you look at a Turbo Levo.
Yeah.
Really? you know, or a high bike, and I'm not knocking high bike, but an Elevate is a fantastic price.
Yeah. Yeah.
In comparison.
The first one that we sold was to a lady who they went and checked out Trek. Now, because there's a Trek store, you know, less than a mile away.
Right on.
They went and checked it out, and very like same exact equivalent bike that they make was $6,000 versus $55,000. And then they realized that we were not a franchise, that we were, you know, independent dealers, blah, blah, blah. You know, after chatting with the husband and everything, he was like, you know, I would much rather support local than supporting, you know, Trek company, blah, blah, blah. And so they came back, called us back about a week later, and they purchased it.
Sweet. I want to jump to here. We've cut to the chase. Now we've gone, and I should use a quote should technically be here because it's cut to the chase. Ask your other 6 questions, get them out for the ride, leave them alone. When they come back, every time that they come back, every time a customer comes back from a ride, hey, how'd it go? Oh, it was great. Terrific. Do you want to take it? You're going to get no 5 times on average before you get to yes. You might as well just keep asking. Water off a duck's back. And so then you want to use a quote. Like I'll give you an example of the way that I like to process this. Okay, you know what? Adam, Camry, you guys got a couple of different bikes here. I want you guys to go for a ride. Take it out for, you know, it's not that busy. Take it out for 5-10 minutes. Come back and I'll see you soon. So you guys go out. You come back. Hey guys, how'd the ride go? Oh, it was awesome. Terrific. You guys want to take it? It could be, I'm not really sure. Okay, let me get you baby brother versions of what you rode. And then I want you to go out and ride those for another 5 to 10 minutes to compare. There's the either or. Or, yeah, we want to take time to think about it. Well, come on in. I want to show you something. And I'm going to show you a quote. There's a couple reasons why you want to use a quote. And I want to share my screen again. And you're going to see wait a minute. Joe's got to open up some stuff. All right, no worries. Let me stop share here. I want to show you a quote from, bear with me. I should have had this prepared. It's going to take me like literally 20 seconds here.
No worries.
Here is, and I like Pedigo San Diego's, really, like, it's impressive. So Pedigo San Diego put together a quote, and I'm gonna share my screen with you. Here we go. We're ready. Share screen. All right, and I'll rotate it. Can you see that now?
Yep.
All right. So what you do is people come back from a ride, and what most people make a big mistake on, a variety of mistakes, okay? One mistake that people make is they show the bike and they might sell 2 or 3 accessories. And that's it. What I want from you is what I want for you is I want you to be able to provide people the best possible experience. Have you ever experienced this, guys, where somebody bought a bike from you and then a couple of weeks later they walk in with an accessory or maybe even a box of accessories and they ask you to install them on their bike?
No, I haven't had that, but I have had, you know, they come week in, week out, just adding more things to their bike.
Which is great. And that's fantastic. This will actually help confirm and keep doing that. So this is great. I have experienced stores, and when I spoke at the CABDA, the Chicagoland Area Bicycle Dealers Association show in Chicago back in February, I asked everybody in the room, and you know there were about 400 bicycle shop attendees for that breakfast, and I asked how many of you have ever experienced somebody who they bought a bike from you, and then a couple of weeks later they come in with some accessories and they're asking you to install these accessories, but the accessories weren't purchased from you. And almost invariably everybody raised their hand. The beauty of creating a quote based on what you are offering. So in this case, here's the Interceptor, but you know, San Diego also did it for you know, here's a black edition. So in platinum and black edition. So if you look at how this quote goes, your typical store is going to sell the platinum edition, the battery, and they might do a helmet and a lock. And that's about it. The typical store does 4 line items per invoice. By you taking the time to put together the appropriate solution that gives someone the full Pedigo experience, and if you look at this, like a platinum, and obviously you can see that it's older because now the platinums are $39.95. But all things being equal, you take an invoice that would be around $4,500 and you can bring it up to $66.23.
Gotcha.
Now I'm not doing this I'm not doing this solely for the purpose of making more money. I'm doing this because there's a variety of options. Number one, if you don't offer all of the options available, your customer can very well go buy them somewhere else.
Yeah.
People don't want to be sold, they want to choose to buy. Number one. Number two, I've seen salespeople do this. All right, so yeah, let's write this up. And do you want a helmet? Do you want a lock? Like they're actually asking, do you want? It's like, okay. It's just, where was I here? Yeah. It's not, do you want? It's, you're the expert, you got the experience, you're good folks, and you're the trusted advisor. So it's like, okay, so Camry, congratulations, you're taking the black edition. Here's what people will typically get with their black edition, and I want to just go over this list with you. So you're going to need a helmet, right? Because you've only got one brain, and you need a brain bucket, so you're going to need a helmet. You're going to need a pump. And they might say, well, I got a pump at home. Okay, does your pump have a pressure gauge? Well, no. Okay, you're going to need a pump because you want to know how much tire pressure is in your tire. Okay, so let's get you that. It's, you know, it's only $40 or $50. And I'm going to go over my list unless they adamantly say there's no way I'm buying it. No problem. And guess what you do? You scratch it off. So when somebody says to you, hey, listen, Camry, what kind of deal can you give me? You ever heard that one before?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Using your list from your quote, you can say, hey, you know what, Adam, I totally appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. Here's my acknowledge. I totally appreciate that you're looking for a good deal, Adam. What is it that we want to take off this list so we can save you money? So all I'm doing is I'm scratching items off the list, negotiating with them, but I'm not discounting.
Gotcha.
Smelling what I'm standing in?
Yeah.
It smells really good to me. All right. Did you just hear that upstairs? Did you hear that scream? Okay. Yeah. That's my buddy Chris from Lead Cycles working in the other office upstairs. He's got this great habit of when he's stretching, he screams out loud. It's hysterical, and I know he hears me saying it right now because you just got recorded, Surf. Yeah. Turn it down, buddy. All right. It's insane. All right. So it's distracting. So so going through this list helps you avoid that whole, okay, and you're looking around your store. Because I've been in stores where it's like, hey, how long has this item been up on your wall for? Since we opened. Yeah. Like I've seen specific iPhone holders for the iPhone 5. Like we're at the iPhone 11 almost now, or like dude, like if you have this, it's on your list and you're rotating that inventory and it's up to date. If you were to make $20 for a $40 pump, then if you sold 200 bikes and you made $20 for every, like, I mean, you're right. It doesn't, what matters too is it's about your blended margin. So this idea of a quote, like, so again, coming back to this, when you are using the quote process, you're going to be able to increase your store inventory margin. And even if you had to, hey, you know what, I'll take away certain items. What it does is it gives you the ability to negotiate items off of the list before you even consider discounting or throwing things in, which we'll talk about in the next call. So we don't have time to do it now. part of the homework assignment that you have, usually I do this live, but I want you guys to do this as a homework assignment. You need to put together quotes before our next call. I don't know what you have for accessories up on the wall, but using this as a guideline, and again, like anything that you could possibly think of per SKU that you actually carry in the store should be on your quote. And then what happens is when somebody leaves for a ride, they come back and you go, hey, so how'd it go? Oh, I love it. Great. Well, let me show you exactly what people usually get with this particular bike. And you're showing them on the quote. And then if I were to use this approach, and I'm using this pen, but let's just say I'm using a regular pen, but I'm using this for the sake of the exercise. If I said, so Adam, Camry, I just want to leave you alone with it, and I put an X and a line, and I gave you the sheet of paper and a pen, what are you compelled to do?
Sign it.
Sign it. So if you sign it, then I go, okay, this looks good. Let me go write this up for you.
Gotcha, yeah.
Absolutely. So if you have a place in your location where people can actually sit down, sitting down actually increases the odds of closing by 40%.
Wow.
Making physical contact, actually touching a customer. And of course now with COVID, we have to be careful about it. Nonetheless, the statistics show that when you actually make physical contact with somebody, it increases your odds of closing by an additional 40%. So again, it's all about how do I increase my probability? What do my customers, what's the type of music that my customer would like to listen to? Put that on in the store. You know, I mean, you might like Korn or Metallica, but the odds are, you know, like if my parents were walking in the room, that's not the type of music that they'll listen to. But, you know, if I put on maybe the Rolling Stones or, you know, the Beatles or, you know, something to that effect, they'll love that. And again, you know your customer base. I mean, for me, you put on some Zeppelin and it's like, I'm happy, or you know, something upbeat that might not even have lyrics to it, like Jesse Cook. Look him up. He's awesome. It's kind of like a upbeat, almost flamenco-ish guitar, Gypsy Kings kind of thing. It's just happy, you know, like that's fun. My buddy Vic plays a lot of that in his retail store, and his customer is very similar to yours. And so it gets people hopping. So Gypsy Kings or Jesse Cook, and put together a Pandora or a playlist and change it up if you want, obviously. But you got to let your staff know, hey guys, we don't listen to the music that we want to listen to. We play the music that our customers want. It sucks, but you know what? You got to suck it up because we're in a place of business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Give me just a sec.
Yeah, no sweat.
Y'all keep going.
Yep. So Camry, does this make sense doing this homework?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because what it's going to do is it's going to save you and your staff the embarrassment of standing at the till and going, okay, what else do you need? Because when you say, what else do you need? You look unprepared, but then the person is going to be like, why are you trying to sell me stuff? Whereas if I come in as the trusted advisor and expert and I say, okay, Camry, here's the list, here's what people will typically get, or this is what we recommend to go with the black edition, and here's the list. And they may say, well, I don't need a Thule rack. No problem, let's take it off the list. That'll save you $750. They've already agreed at this point that they want the bike.
Yeah.
So, okay, and you can go, here's the bike. Now, we recommend the bike with the bigger battery. So you want to get more range out of the battery, right? It's only $300 now. If you buy it later, it's like $1,000. So let's just do that now. Notice how I'm not asking you, do you want the battery? I'm saying, as the expert, you're going to need this, and it's only $300. So does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Right? Because oftentimes, I've seen this happen. People have bought the 10 amp hour battery because it's all they need. And then they come back a month later and they go, you know what? I should have bought that. I should have. So you're the authority. You're the expert.
Okay, sounds great.
Again to this, you're the authority.
Gotcha.
This gives you, again, why are they coming to see you?
I know where King
They want to try, they want service. But a lot of people, if they walk into your store, they do want to be, they actually do want to buy.
I'm sorry. Well, no, we just
Want to buy.
Why I'm not familiar.
They want to buy. That's why they're there. They're there to buy. Now, if they didn't want to be there, they'd have stayed at home or they'd have gone somewhere else or they'd have bought online. So it's not just to be able to soak up information from you. They're there to actually make a purchase. It's your job to build know, like, and trust, influence and persuade, and ultimately it's your job to ask. It's your job to ask and ask. Know that you're going to ask 5 times. It's okay. People only mean no, no for now. So why are they here? They're here because they want to buy. And even if they're in because to try, and I call these folks the triers, like they're e-curious, right? Tell me about your bikes. Happy to tell you about my bikes. What are you going to say? First time in the store? How'd you hear about us? You ever ride a Pedigo before? That's how I'm going to tell you about my bikes. Hop on. I'm going to get your name capture. Like that is critical component. Because if I stand there and talk to you for an hour and you don't even try, I'm doing myself and you a huge disservice. True?
Yeah.
True.
Awesome. So build your list, build your list, build your list. All right, we've got about 15, 20 minutes. Whoops. Let me go back to my list of.
Before we go,
Yeah.
I wanted to show you around the shop because we haven't done that yet.
Oh, dude, I love it. Let's do it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. Here's our. Sorry.
So fast.
It's okay. Okay,
So
wait a minute. Can you go to the right? Was that like an air conditioner on the wall?
Yes. There's all.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And a helmet and hat rack. Cool.
So that's the counter,
Yes.
and then over here. Wait.
Oh, I like the gray. That's cool.
Yeah. Here.
That's a nice color change.
We go to our sitting area, and I can't really see well, so let me know.
I love it. No, I love it. So great. That's great.
Sitting area. We got the magazines, and then we have the TV and stuff. Can you see?
In waters. Perfect.
And we got a fridge. They want like some beer, I don't know, water or something.
Yeah. Hey, do you guys offer beers to people?
Sometimes, like if they're like, well, not really. We
Yeah, I mean,
haven't
because
really-
here's the thing. I mean, Bob Bybee might not be with the company anymore, but he's not the only one that's done it. Like you don't have to have a liquor license if you're giving it away. If you
Right.
charge for it, then it's a problem. But if you're pouring somebody a glass of wine or pouring somebody a beer or giving them a can or a bottle of beer, the law of reciprocation, even with just a bottle of water, you give somebody a bottle of water, the law of reciprocation is they're going to give something back, which is typically your business. Go ahead. I'm looking at the front here. This is cool.
Oh, okay. There's all our rentals in the front. Can you see that well?
Yeah, what's the white bike that's up there?
That's our BMC.
Okay. So you are carrying other brands that are the acoustic bikes?
Yes.
Or okay. The only electric brands that you carry is Pedigo?
Yes, absolutely.
What's that on the right? What's the thing on the right? Like the writing? Yeah, what is, okay, that isn't,
So,
is that for kids?
hold on, wait. This is the lady that had the shop before us. She was
An artist.
yeah, she made this kind of reclaimed art, and a lot
That
of
is
people are
cool.
like, well, what's she doing now, and blah blah blah, and we're like,
Sure.
oh, we have some stuff for consignment, and they're like, oh, that's cool, and that's kind of like a conversation starter too.
Yeah.
And then we're going in the shop right now.
Now I get it by what you meant by that lengthy, the long
Yeah.
hallway.
Yeah, so we got
Love it.
And then we have our BMCs that we don't have a lot, as you can see, but
That's
we have
fair.
a little bit. Yeah.
But now prompted you guys to bring in BMC? Were you a fan? Was 30A already carrying it? You got access to it as well? Like what happened with that?
I was looking for something more so that wasn't already in the area. And
Sweet.
yeah, and you mentioned Rocky Mountain earlier. I had actually contacted them too and was on the hook, but I wanted something that was more than just, that was multi-offering. And Rocky Mountain is straight up mountain bikes.
Yep.
And everything else is pretty much already in the area. So BMC was looking to get in, and so
Good brand.
Yeah. We haven't sold any yet, but we're getting a few more phone calls here and there. And now they're coming out with the new line for 2021. So we'll see.
And you know what? The same principles that we're talking about here, even though it's electric, I mean, it applies to any bicycle that you have. So it's like, hey, you know what? Just for fun, hop on, get their information, do the follow-up. What do you think? You know what? Based on what you told me, I mean, it's, you know.
In your opinion, what is so they're, they do closeouts at the end of each year or whatever prior to New Year's coming out. What is a typical closeout percentage?
Well, like for you as a retailer or as a buyer from BMC? Like if you're buying it from BMC or a percentage off that you're going to do?
Like, so the bikes that are already in the store, what would you typically closeout price on those?
It depends on what month it is.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know how much inventory you have, but typically what would happen is let's say if I'm looking at the typical cycle in bicycle retail, you'll look at, okay, we're in August and things start to really, slow down. August, September, October, you better have gotten all the stuff gone. So typically it would be like, okay, 10%, 20%, 30% off. And then if you're going into the new year, it's like just blow it out at cost. Because you don't want to have that. This is a problem that certain brands have. And kudos to Pedigo because it's actually pretty brilliant. When you have a model year, it puts you in a position where you've got to liquidate because you're stuck with, like, what's the difference between the 2019 and the 2020 BMC? It's about that much of a difference.
Exactly.
Whereas Pedigo, to their credit, having a rolling model year, there is no model year. It's just a rolling change, and you get to hold margin.
Yeah.
So to answer your question on that, I would go 10%, 20%, 30%, and then just over cost. But again, using the quote technique, you're going to make up the blended margin.
Okay.
So if you have to, it's like you don't want to just sell somebody the bike. You want to have them the total package. And inventory control is something that I learned back when I was at Fitness Depot. There was something that back in the day people used to say the three most important things in your business was location, location, location. And the founder of Fitness Depot, even though he wasn't necessarily the nicest guy, I would give him credit, and that is inventory. His three things were inventory control, inventory control, inventory control. Because if you controlled your inventory correctly, never mind between stores with stock transfers, but also in terms of how you bought and when you put it on sale and how you were working your store inventory margin, but even more so, the blended margin. Because if this is my invoice, it doesn't matter what I sell the bike for as much as what I make on the blended margin of the total invoice cost. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of us talking about this quote. If you're not using a quote and you're not getting as many accessories on the quote as possible, because it's not just about what I'm selling, it's also I want to be able to have that customer to have an incredible Pedigo experience.
Gotcha.
So if I'm giving you a great experience, you're getting all of these accessories now. Sorry, Cameron, keep going. You're like, I'm doing shoulder presses.
Okay, so we're coming back. We just got these really cool hats too.
What do they retail for?
25.
Cheap. Love it. And I'm assuming your cost is like $12.50 or less?
Yeah, 1208.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Back. Got. Oh, can you see that?
Yep.
Here, I'll go over here.
How many of your bikes do you put on the floor or let people ride with mag wheels?
It just depends.
Yeah, we have doing our rentals, so
Good. You'd be shocked as to how many stores don't even have mag wheels like in the store. And it's like, why are you not like, again, something that's a differentiator, right? Like a boomerang with mag wheels. Yeah, that's great. That's a beautiful looking store.
Got Thule. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which Thule rack do you sell more of?
The Easy Fold.
Yeah, same. I own an Easy Fold. I love it. There's William.
There he is. But we put
Oh, nice.
I like to put like a real flashy color
Yeah.
on the rack, so it kind of draws the attention to the rack as well. And we kind of set it up so they can see like, oh yeah, that's what you do.
Brilliant.
Here's where our helmets are. Can you see that?
Now, yeah, did you build that piece with like the accessory wall? Like, cause that's it looks like it's wood slat. You guys built it yourself?
Yeah.
Wow, that looks beautiful.
That's all Adam.
Nice work, man.
Yeah, he actually had this, here. Can you see the mountain bikes?
Yeah, I like that. Look, okay, I see the stands. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's great. So you put the piping up. That is awesome. I like that.
Yeah, he actually built out like a business model or like a shop, not a business model, but like an
AutoCAD drawing.
Yeah. When he was in college.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The dream has come alive. That's beautiful. That's great.
Accessory wall, and here's just.
That's great. Yeah, in Tucson, what they've done is they've put together what they've done is they've sectioned off here are the mountain bikes and all the mountain bike accessories. Here's the commuting bikes and here's the commuting bike accessories. So I love it. But I love the way you guys. It's a beautiful shop. It's super clean. Great. It's got a good vibe. I love the stickers that you guys have put up on the front of the counter.
Yeah.
Which
we actually saved those stickers from like like Hand Up is what we sell.
Love it.
Local tap room. Goop.
It gives the appearance that you've been there for a while too, which is fantastic. It gives it a lot. I don't know. There's a bike shop cred, bike shop feel with that whole counter you have. I like it a lot. It's great.
This quote, can you see it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you ride as long as you do. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, his when he had his cycling team, that was the quote.
Oh, is that right? Where was he? What team? I'm not familiar. That was he cycling?
He had his own cycling. He made his own cycling team in Florida. It's called Loblolly, like the tree.
I'm not familiar with the tree. What was it called? A lob what?
Loblolly.
Loblolly. Now I'm gonna have to go look up this tree online to see a photo.
I think he named it Loblolly because it's like indigenous to Florida and Alabama.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Adam, why'd you pick Loblolly?
Because I was looking at I wanted to do like a genus type of name, like something kind of creative.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, like, I was just looking at, like, I saw this one cycling kit that was full of trees and everything. Like, it was just a tree pattern, and it, like, sparked my interest. And so started looking around and was just going through. And then somehow I came upon loblolly, and it's a southern pine tree.
Neat.
So,
I'm going to look it up after our call. I'm just going to go to Google Images and have a look for that. That's neat.
Yeah, so I just kind of landed on that, and my brother's a designer, so I sent it to him. I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And so then he started creating logos right away, and somehow we landed on a redundancy, but Team Loblolly Cycling Team.
Okay. Team Loblolly Cycling Team. You know you're confident when you can use the same word twice in a sentence.
But yeah, it was a ton of fun. while
That's
it
great.
lasted, and maybe it'll come back again in the future. But
What kind of riding were you doing?
we mostly did road and cyclocross.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was a big cyclocross rider,
It's fun.
and then I had some of my buddies. I did a little bit of road. Like I liked crits, but
You're nuts, man. I say that with all like respect. I've been like about 6 years ago, I really was like, am I going to get a cross bike? Am I going to get a cross bike? And then I never did it.
No, I didn't lock the door. Sorry. Hold.
sorry.
Yeah, no sweat, no sweat. What a crazy sport.
Did I lock it? The door's been locked the whole time.
Oh, no way.
I came by earlier to see if you guys like
what's
green
that?
beans or corn better, but I just went with green beans.
But yeah, so you're saying you wanted to
I
do
was thinking,
cyclocross?
yeah, BH had a really cool cross bike, and I almost bought one. And it's just a question of, you know, where I was at the time, the season. I mean, because fall season is big for cross here. I don't know if that's the case there, but, you know, like, I love the idea of a small course, having a crowd, cowbells. I mean, I've been to cross races, and it's like,
The energy is insane.
oh, yeah. So your VO2 max, like, has to improve over a season because, like, it's just battery acid, right? Like,
Yeah, first to second race of the season. I did about 4 seasons straight through. I tried to do as many races as I could. And yeah, it was like first race, no matter how much training you do, you're never prepared.
no.
Yeah, and then as you get going, you know, you're dead after that first race, and then each time it gets a little bit easier, and yeah, it's just constant pushing 110% the entire time.
And
Whatever
muddy mess, like just
most of my races were in Florida, so we didn't, and in the winter it doesn't rain a whole lot, so it was very, very rare to have some true mud out there and stuff like that. So
were they wetting the course down?
No, that's illegal. Yeah, they
really?
can't. Yeah, you can't artificially alter the course.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I've seen some places where they do it.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Everything that I've ever read is like, no, you can't make mud.
Okay.
But they'd throw out sand pits and stuff like that, or run it through a sand jungle gym and
up a flight of stairs.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, man. I mean, guys that I've seen. I was at the Denver bike show, and it was a Denver bike swap, and they had put together a race at the same time. So I was working the trade show booth, but I got a chance to go see the Masters race because it was 40 and over age category. So I was curious because I knew a couple of guys just because I knew them. They were racing in it, and some of these guys are just so incredible in terms of bunny hopping and like not getting off the bike and amazing technical skills, and it's fun, right? I mean, you're just
it's so much fun. You hate your life while you're doing it, but as soon as you're done, you're just like, man, that's the greatest thing.
And everybody seems to be really cool with the race, and everybody's sharing good times after. And I mean, I got a good buddy of mine who'd been racing, and he was right on somebody's wheel, and he's like, "I'm on you, man!" Like everybody's just chirping at each other, and it's just like that'd be right up my alley. It's just time. Yeah. Like, I mean, sure. It's just, what do you know?
Yeah, that's why I haven't done it over the last, three or 4 years, about 3 years, really. Just because, of time and taking time off of work.
Yeah.
And everything like that. But that was always my big draw to it, was the community of it. Everybody's so much more supportive. It's just such a close knit. In comparison to mountain biking is pretty all right, but road cycling, people are dicks and everybody's out for themselves.
It's terrible.
Yeah, there's no community in road cycling unless it's your local community of riders.
Yeah, if you're in the peloton of or the group, and like it's no different than surfing culture. Right? If you come in to a beach that you've never been in before, like they just want you out of there.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Okay, you know what?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going? Our shipment's here.
Yeah, no sweat. Well, and it's 11 o'clock my time, so it's been our 2 hours. We're going to hook up on Tuesdays at the same time. The one thing that so the exercise you have to do is per category or SKU, put together your quote of absolutely every accessory and just share it with me on your screen when we see each other next week.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Any questions, guys?
No, that's it.
And
We're-
we got to get a map.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to send you I'm going to put this on your to-do list as urgent, your homework, your quote assignment. I'm going to put it up here after we hang up. I'll take photos of some things. I'll email you this recording with some extra little bonus clips of some other stuff. And have a great weekend. Crush it. Don't be afraid to ask. Just for fun. Get them on, get them on, get them on. Butts on bikes.
Cool. Thanks, Jeff.
Hey, guys. Doing awesome.
All right,
Have
we'll
a
see
good
you.
one. You bet. See ya.